This new LEGO set is lit. The kids might even call it fire. Oop, there it goes again. Shouldn't have said that word. Nobody panic. This happens literally all the time. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's that first one. It is, in fact, a bird, because today we are talking about Fawkes, Dumbledore's Phoenix. I don't know who else's Phoenix this would be. The set is named Fawkes Dumbledore's Phoenix. It is, of course, Fawkes the Phoenix from Harry Potter. This set just came out at the beginning of June in 2021, along with a bunch of other new Harry Potter sets. This set contains 597 pieces and only costs $40 here in the US. You may have noticed that we are also joined here today by another special bird friend. It sounds weird when we put it that way. We've also brought Hedwig out because this new Fawkes the Phoenix set is remarkably similar to the construction of Hedwig, and yet I still like it a lot in its own right, even though the mechanics and the construction are still, like I said, almost exactly the same as this Hedwig set that we got, I don't know, last year or the year before that. We will, of course, speed build this set. I'll give you my full thoughts on it, and we'll look at it a little closer next to Hedwig, but first we have to address, obviously, the cool mechanical feature of this set, and that is that if I turn this crank in the back, it does this beautiful wing flapping motion, but my fingers get a little tired just doing that, and so I want to up the ante a bit, take it to the next level, if you will, and that of course involves a little LEGO motor. By simply removing one of these handles and plugging in a motor instead, this whole flapping motion becomes a lot more automatic. Here we go. Ah, how majestic, how beautiful. Just don't let go of the motor. It is majesty epitomized. It is the quintessential, oh, we've lost her. As fun as this is to do, I think this set was meant to be cranked manually, and so I'm going to go ahead and shut this off before the whole thing kind of flaps itself apart, because it kind of feels like it's on the verge of doing just that. The mechanics of this set are definitely the most fun part about it, but I promised you all a speed build, so let's get to that, and then I will give you some more of my thoughts on this set. I really don't like starting off a speed build video by saying that the build for one set was basically just exactly the same thing as another set. In this case, unfortunately, that is kind of what's happening. This Phoenix set is an incredibly similar build to the Hedwig set, but that doesn't mean it was a bad build. It was still a lot of fun. It's really only the mechanics and some of the wing parts that are that similar, and I only remember how similar they were because I had to repair the Hedwig set in order to show them both here today. Overall though, this Fawkes build was still really great because you have this beautiful melding and meshing of building a little bit of mechanics in there while still building this sculpture that is the bird itself. Overall, the thing comes together and looks really great in the end. So here is my review of this set. I like it a whole bunch. I have almost nothing negative to say about it. Some people could say that, I don't know, it doesn't have any play features or that it's not a LEGO Star Wars set. In that case, those problems are your problems, not the set's problems. You can play with it, at least my kids would consider this a play feature, by, you know, turning the crank and making it do the wing flappy thing, which it does so well. That may be my favorite part about this set. If I'm looking for one negative, I wish it was a little easier to get it to stick up in this upright position because I think it looks really cool there. I could also be persuaded to talk about the pose that was the chosen pose here. I like the flying dynamic motion. It's the same thing they did with Hedwig, but I could have been convinced that LEGO could have made a sculpted Phoenix brick-built version that had this same like majestic sitting position, which is obviously how we saw Phoenix most of the time, or how we saw Fawkes rather, most of the time in the actual Harry Potter series, but even still, this flying dynamic motion is still a lot of fun to see. Talking aesthetics, this set has a lot going for it, starting with the stand on the bottom here, very regal looking, a lot of like gold accents going on there, a lot more majestic kind of than I would say Hedwig. Hedwig had a square base, had some Gryffindor colors going on there. This one I think suits Fawkes very well. Going up from there, I really like the way that these claws are constructed with those curved like horn pieces used as the actual claw pieces themselves. And then there's a lot of exposed mechanics in there, but a lot of people might not like that. I personally don't mind it. I think I mentioned, or I will mention, that this set, it kind of reminds me of like an automaton, as you would have seen in like old imaginings of robots and stuff. So I like the aesthetics being exposed in this case. Also, I feel like it's weird that this Technic bit is sticking out here. I may have built that incorrectly. Maybe that's supposed to be pushed in slightly by like one peg. It doesn't happen on this one. So I don't know, that might be my own fault. That might be just a weird design necessity in this case. There is a little spot here where you could stick either Fawkes by himself. Is Fawkes a boy? Fawkes by him or herself? I don't want to make assumptions here. Or you can stick just both Dumbledore and Fawkes on top of that little platform. Either way, I think the effect works. It's nice. I always like when an entire Lego set can be self-contained on its own like display spot. Looking at the wings and construction of the body of this figure, that is where some of the similarities to Hedwig really come through. We can see that the wings have a almost identical design, at least before we get to like the wingtip bits and the coloration, obviously, but there's a lot of similarities here, especially with the Technic elements. You can tell that it's the exact same length of Technic axles and beams that are used on both figures. Even still, besides the mechanics in the wings, there are still so many differences between these two. With the tail, I guess the whole, like the body is done differently. You can see that there's some extra little detail along the side of Fawkes that Hedwig doesn't have, and the heads are where the detail really comes through for each of these figures. You build a little personality into those, and obviously they are different because one is an owl and one is a mythical creature known as a phoenix. Speaking of heads, I think I'm a fan of Fawkes' head as it's done here. It looks really cool. Honestly though, it is so much smaller and fewer pieces than I thought it was going to be. It is also the very last thing that you build overall, and so you get to like the final pieces and the final steps of the final bag, and I was like, wait, we're forgetting something. And then this thing comes together out of kind of a few number of pieces. You can kind of see that it is simply built, and yet again, I love when some extra pieces like claw pieces here are used for eyebrows and things that weren't necessarily designed to do what they're being used to do, are used to do things like this. Like you got a beak piece, you got these cheek pieces, you got the eyebrow pieces. I just love the overall construction of this because it looks like a phoenix head, and yet it is still very simple and elegantly done. Sorry for the temporary decapitation for all the hardcore Harry Potter fans out there who are still not over Hedwig's death. We would not want the same fate to befall our beloved Fawkes here. Wait, did Fawkes make it through the movies? Did she nobly sacrifice herself also? Now I can't remember. Let me know in the comments down below what fate finally did befall our beloved Fawkes here. We do get a Dumbledore minifigure included with this set. I don't know if it's a new version of Dumbledore. I think it looks rather nice in any case, but his torso ends up getting covered mostly by his beard and hair anyway. We also get a mini molded version of Fawkes the Phoenix. This is the same one that came in like the collector minifigure series, probably appeared in other places as well, but in any case, I love it when there's a small version of the big thing that you've already built. I wish LEGO would do this more with like the helmets and all kinds of other larger molded, brick-built creatures and characters. I wish they would also include minifigure or, like in this case, mini creature molded counterparts with those same sets. Overall, man, I think this set looks really awesome. I think for the price, it's a pretty great deal. I love these kind of like Lego sculpture looks. I love that it looks kind of like, I don't know, what, like an automaton creature from like the turn of the century, something that you would see on like a traveling salesman's cart of mystical wizardry items or something along those lines. That's at least the feelings that this kind of set evoke in me, and I like it. I think this set would look great displayed on a shelf. I think that Harry Potter fans would really dig this set. I don't have a lot of negative things to say about it except for its comparison to Hedwig and that they are remarkably similar, but even so, they are different enough that I think they both stand up very well on their own as individual Lego sets. So let me know what you think about this new set in the comments down below. Do you think it's worth $40? Are you planning to pick this one up? As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. And I'll leave you with a lesson that we can all learn from our friend Fawkes here. Just remember that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. Become someone completely different. All you have to do is catch fire and then regrow yourself from your very own ashes. Metaphorically, of course. I'll see you next time.